Hey, the learner, you're back. You know how this works, right? You want to cut through the noise, get to the real meat of a topic, no fluff.
That's what we do here. It's the deep dive.
Yeah.
You gave us, what was it again?
Well, this one is interesting. It's Kamangataya, but the Hindi version.
Ah, okay. So Rich Dad, Poor Dad, originally by Robert Kiyosaki. But this one was translated by Dr. Sudhir Dixit, published by Manjul Publishing House.
Right. And the original English one was way back in 2000. This Hindi one, first out in 2002. But this is, get this, the 22nd impression from 2016.
Wow, okay. So clearly it's resonating with people, even all these years later. I mean, like 22 impressions, that's something. Must be hitting a nerve, right?
Definitely. People are clearly still looking for answers when it comes to money. So for this deep dive, what we want to do is extract the big lessons.
Yeah.
You know, the stuff that maybe isn't so obvious at first glance about how to think about wealth, how to get better with money, all that.
Yeah, like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Cliff's Notes. But better.
Exactly. Like a shortcut, but you still get all the good stuff.
All right, so where do we even start with this? It's a pretty packed book, you know.
Yeah, but right off the bat, it throws down this challenge, this idea that's kind of different from what we're usually told about the whole work hard, get a paycheck thing.
Yeah, the whole work for money idea, it basically says that mindset, that can actually trap you.
You're stuck on this, what's the word?
Like a hamster wheel.
Yeah, exactly. Hamster wheel, that's it. You're running, but you never really get ahead. Why? Because most people, they're motivated by fear. You know, that fear of not having enough.
Right, scarcity mindset.
But then at the same time, there's this desire for more, like always wanting that next thing, that upgrade, whatever.
And so the cycle just keeps repeating. Right.
Over and over. And the book gives this example. It's a really common one, too. The raise.
Right. You get a raise, feels good. More money, maybe you buy something nice, but then what happens?
Well, your spending just goes up, too. You get used to that new level, and pretty soon you're back where you started, still needing that next paycheck.
Still trading time for money, 1 hour for X dollars.
Yep, that's it. But the book says the people who are really financially successful, they do things differently. They don't just work for money. They make money work for them.
They build systems. They invest in things that generate income, even when they're not actively working.
And that's where the whole idea of financial literacy comes in.
Knowing how money really works, how to manage it, how to make it grow, it's more important than just how much you earn, right?
Totally. And this leads us to I guess you call it the foundation of the book's whole philosophy, these two key definitions, assets and liabilities. The learner, this is crucial stuff. Pay attention.
All right, break it down for us. What's an asset?
Okay, so Rich Dad, Poor Dad says an asset is anything at all that puts money in your pocket regularly.
Regularly. Yeah, that's key. Not just a one-time thing.
Exactly. So like owning stocks that pay dividends, that's an asset.
Or bonds that give you interest payments.
Rental properties, if you're doing it right and the rent covers all the expenses, that's an asset too.
Even things like, I don't know, royalties from a book you wrote or a song, anything that generates passive income, that's your asset column.
And on the flip side, what takes money out of your pocket, that, my friend, is a liability.
The stuff that makes you go, ugh, when the bill comes.
Your mortgage, credit card bills, car payments, all those things, they're all liabilities.
And what's sneaky, the book points out, is that a lot of people, they think they're buying assets, but they're actually liabilities in disguise.
Yeah, like they'll buy a big house, huge.
Thinking it's an investment,
But it's really just a money pit. You've got the mortgage, the property taxes, all the upkeep. It's draining your cash.
it's not putting money in your pocket, it's taking it out. So by the book's definition, it's a liability, not an asset.
Exactly. And the rich, they get that. They focus on building up that asset column, the stuff that brings in the cash flow.
They understand where their money is going. And the book actually uses these simple diagrams to show it, right? Like a visual of how the money flows.
Yeah, super helpful. So for someone who's struggling financially, it shows money coming in as income, and then bam, it goes straight out again to pay for basic living expenses.
No money left over to invest or to acquire more assets.
Then there's the middle class. A little more coming in, but a lot of it's going out to cover those liabilities we talked about.
Mortgage, car payments, all that. Plus taxes, of course.
And then there's the rich. Their diagram looks totally different. Money coming in, yeah, but most of it's flowing into
More assets.
Yeah.
And those assets produce even more income, which covers their expenses and leaves them with even more to reinvest.
It's this cycle, this upward spiral. They're not stuck trading their time for money anymore.
They've broken free from that hamster wheel.
Okay, so we've got the assets figured out, the importance of that asset column. That brings us to lesson number 3, which is mind your own business. Now, I don't know about you, but when I first heard that, I thought, wait, I have to start a company.
I get it. Sounds
Gosh.
kind of intimidating.
Yeah.
But the book actually means something a little different, right?
Yeah, your own business isn't really about having employees and a storefront and all that. It's more about being the CEO of your own finances.
It's about taking responsibility for building up your asset column, making that your focus, not just working for someone else's business.
And the learner, this is where it gets really personal, right? Whatever your field is, whatever skills you have, this applies.
The more you think about your finances like a business, like something you're actively building, the better off you'll be.
You could invest in some rental properties, buy some dividend stocks, even just start a small side hustle that brings in extra cash. The point is, you're building that asset column step by step.
Creating multiple streams of income, not just relying on one job.
Now, lesson number 4 is a juicy one. It's all about the history of taxes and the power of corporations. This part really opened my eyes.
Yeah, this one gets a little political, but stay with us, the learner. We're just reporting what the book says, not taking sides here.
Right, we're just the messengers. So the book starts by going back in time, talking about how income tax, the way we know it, wasn't always around. It was supposed to be temporary. Imagine that.
Hard to believe, right? But then it kind of stuck around and evolved.
And the book points out this difference in how taxes work for a regular employee versus a corporation. So if you're an employee, you earn your income, then the government takes a chunk out in taxes and you're left with what's left to spend or invest.
But a corporation, it's a different story. They get to deduct all sorts of expenses, like the costs of running the business, before they pay taxes on their profits.
So basically, they can reduce their tax burden legally by structuring things in a smart way, which most people don't even know about.
Right. And again, the book isn't saying do anything illegal. It's about understanding the rules of the game and using them to your advantage.
Okay, lesson number 5 is kind of a mind bender. It's called The Rich Invent Money. Sounds crazy.
I mean, they're not printing their own bills or anything.
Yeah. No, it's more about their mindset. The book argues that the rich, they see opportunities that other people guess. They're creative, they come up with solutions, and they're willing to take calculated risks.
They're not just waiting for money to come to them. They're going out and creating opportunities to make money.
It's about having what the book calls financial intelligence. It's like knowing how to make your money work even harder for you.
And it's not just about being a genius. It's about being open to learning, being willing to try new things.
Exactly. All right, on to lesson 6. Work to learn, don't work for money. This one hits close to home, especially if you're just starting out in your career.
It's tempting to just chase the biggest paycheck, right? But the book says maybe that's not always the best strategy.
Especially early on. Because in the beginning, what's really important is gaining skills, getting experience, learning as much as you can.
Even if it means taking a job that pays a little less, if it's in a field that interests you, that gives you valuable skills,
Yeah.
that's a good investment.
The learner, this is for you too, right? You're all about gaining knowledge. But sometimes the best education is hands-on experience.
You got to get your hands dirty, make some mistakes, learn from the best.
And then once you have those skills, that experience, you can use that to create your own opportunities.
Start your own business, make smarter investments, maybe even negotiate a higher salary because you have something unique to offer.
Now, the book doesn't sugarcoat things. It acknowledges that this journey toward financial freedom, it's not always easy. There are going to be obstacles.
Mental and emotional roadblocks that can trip you up.
Fear, for one. The fear of failure. The fear of the unknown.
Doubt, thinking, can I really do this? Am I good enough?
Laziness, procrastination. We all struggle with that sometimes.
Bad habits, especially when it comes to spending money.
And even arrogance, thinking you know everything already and don't need to learn anything new. That can be a big one.
But the book offers some hope, too. It says the best way to overcome these obstacles is through education. Keep learning, keep growing.
And it's not about making massive changes overnight. Start small, be consistent, build those good habits over time.
So wrapping things up here, the learner, we hope this deep dive into Ariel Pagkaneke has given you some food for thought.
Some new ideas to chew on, some strategies to try out.
We've explored the core concepts, the importance of assets, the power of financial intelligence, the mindset shifts that can really make a difference.
And here's our final thought for you to ponder. Think about your own financial situation right now. What's one small step you can take today, even just a tiny one, to start shifting your thinking?
From working for money to making your money work for you.
That's the big takeaway here. This is just the beginning, of course.
There's always more to learn, more to explore when it comes to building wealth and achieving